You don't need to be a genius to dominate the psychological battlefield. You just need to be willing to watch while others talk, to listen to what isn't said, to see people as they are, unfiltered, afraid, calculating. Most people walk into a room trying to impress. The rare ones walk in to observe, to collect, to catalog. And in that silence, the real game begins. Power isn't seized through words. It's seized through perception. Quiet, surgical, invisible. If you can read someone faster than they can fake themselves, you don't just understand the room, you control it. This isn't about cheap manipulation. This is about psychological precision. It's about decoding human nature so thoroughly that you remove guesswork from every interaction. Because the people around you aren't mysteries, they're blueprints, patterns, systems. And if you read those systems in real time, you stop reacting, you start guiding. Step 1, weaponize silence. The average person fears silence like a predator. They rush to fill it with noise, with lies, with performance. But silence isn't absence, it's a pressure chamber, and pressure forces truth to rise. Stay quiet longer than they expect, and you'll hear more than their words ever told you. You'll hear their hesitation, their uncertainty, their calculation. Because no one rehearses what they say in panic. Hesitation is not harmless. It's a micro-confession, a leak in the mask. Pause and they'll reveal if they're nervous or deceptive. Hold and they'll fumble their performance. And that's where control begins. Not by what you say, but by how long you wait. Step 2, read their relationship to power. People reveal their true nature when confronted with authority, real or perceived. Watch how they respond when you walk in. Do they seek your approval? Challenge you? Ignore you until others validate your presence? That's not random behavior. That's hierarchy logic. They're showing you whether they worship power or resent it. And this matters more than you think. Because someone who respects power can be influenced, but someone who resents it, they'll sabotage even their own interests just to prove they can't be controlled. But the smartest insight doesn't come from how they treat you. It comes from how they treat the ones they think don't matter. The intern, the waiter, the assistant, that tells you everything about their worldview. Whether they see the world through dominance or insecurity. Whether they play up, play down, or play for themselves. Know this, people don't fake kindness to the powerless. That part is real. And once you decode that worldview, you know exactly which psychological levers will work and which ones will snap under pressure. Step 3, controlled disruption. Never trust appearances, not fully. Everyone's playing a role until the role breaks. Introduce friction, change the subject mid-flow, disagree calmly, throw one stone into the calm surface, watch the ripples. Predictable people crave consistency, but those with real inner strength, they flex, they adapt, they recenter, the insecure tense up, the egotistical over-explain, the approval seekers laugh too loud, the manipulative redirect instantly. These aren't random reactions, they are diagnostic signals, and they reveal how a person handles pressure before there's real pressure. You're not trying to expose them. You're taking a sample of their internal stability. And once you know how they react under strain, you're already 3 moves ahead of every conversation you'll ever have with them. Step 4, post-interaction analysis. Most people perform when they know they're being watched, but the performance always ends. Watch them after the interaction, after the handshake, after the goodbye. Where do they move? Who do they glance at? Do they isolate? Seek approval? Report back? That's where their real loyalty lives. Not in what they said to you, but in what they do when they think you're gone. People don't just talk with words. They speak with posture, proximity, micro reactions. Watch how they talk about you. When they think you're not listening, the tone, the energy, the body language. You don't need the words, you just need the shift. And then, watch for the final tell, the glance as you leave. If they watch you exit, you're still a factor in their mind. If they avoid eye contact, they're afraid or indifferent. Either way, it's data. It tells you exactly how much space you take up in their mental architecture. Step 5. Identify their primary fear. Every person is running from something: rejection, exposure, irrelevance, loss. Their entire personality is shaped around avoiding that one thing. The secret? They always overcompensate. The loudest man in the room fears being ignored. The oversharer fears abandonment. The perfectionist fears being exposed as flawed. The micromanager fears being outshined. You don't need to confront them. Just watch where they control too tightly, where their behavior turns compulsive, where they rehearse, repeat, overreact. That's the fear. And once you've seen it, you hold the master key to their psyche. You're not interpreting random signals anymore. You're filtering everything through one lens. And it all makes sense. Because fear doesn't lie. Fear drives every move they make. And once you understand what someone fears, you can predict how they'll betray, compete, cling, or collapse before they even realize they're doing it. Once you see someone's fear, you don't confront it. You exploit the gravity it creates. Mention what they envy and watch them flinch. Withdraw attention and watch them scramble. Praise someone else in front of them and watch them unravel. You're not guessing anymore. You're orchestrating predictable failure. And the beauty of it? They'll think it's all internal. Their stress, their doubt, their meltdown. It'll feel like it's coming from inside them, because technically it is. That's the Machiavellian edge. You don't fight people. You position them to fight themselves. Step 6. Stay invisible after the read. Here's where almost everyone fails. They read someone correctly and then ruin the advantage by saying too much. Never announce what you've seen. Never brag about your insight. Never warn someone you're on to them, because the moment you reveal you figured them out, they change. Not for growth, but to become unreadable. And unreadable people are unpredictable. And unpredictable people can't be controlled. So what do? You nod. You smile at their lie. You let their performance play out like you bought it. And while they believe they fooled you, you're already mapping the next 3 moves. Because if they think you're blind, they'll never guard their weak side. That's strategic patience. That's power without confrontation. Step 7. Speak slightly beneath their guard. Never speak at full capacity. Not with those you're reading. Speak slightly below their suspicion threshold. Let them feel sharper. Let them lead. Let them think they're one step ahead. Because the moment someone thinks they've got the upper hand, they relax their mask. They talk more, reveal more, slip more. You don't need brilliance. You need precision. One layer of subtlety is all it takes to go from outsider to architect of the interaction. You're not reacting, you're writing. Step 8. Use one detail to control the narrative. You don't need all their secrets. You need one piece of real data: their fear, their contradiction, their overcompensation, their pattern. Once you see it, build your language around it quietly. Mention it vaguely, echo it symbolically, drop it in a question or a joke. Now they spiral internally. They don't know what you know. They just feel exposed. And that feeling is enough. That's psychological leverage. You didn't push. You didn't threaten. You created doubt. And doubt is control without conflict. Step 9. Disappear at maximum impact. When you've seen someone's mind, leave. Not forever. Strategically. Right after the insight. After they mess up. After they reveal too much. Go silent. Step back. Become unavailable. They won't forget that moment. Because we obsess over the times we were seen completely. And when the person who saw us vanishes, it haunts. You become their internal echo, the phantom in their decision-making. Not because you attacked, but because you understood and then left. That's presence without presence. That's psychological imprint. Step 10. Read yourself ruthlessly. Now turn the method inward. You've studied everyone else. Now scan your own tells. When do you overcompensate? When do you posture? Where does your voice change under pressure? Because if you don't know how you leak, someone else will figure it out and use it. Study your own fear. Study how you hide it, and then control it. This is the final firewall. It's not enough to be a mind reader. You must also be unreadable. Closing insight: the fox, the lion, and the ghost. Machiavelli said a ruler must be both lion and fox. The lion enforces dominance. The fox avoids traps. But there's a third form, unwritten in his books. The ghost, the one who watches, waits, and vanishes. The one who doesn't need the throne because they control the room from the shadows. They don't expose enemies. They let enemies expose themselves. They don't chase power. They shape the world so power drifts into their hands. You don't need to argue. You don't need to beg. You don't need to prove anything. You watch, you remember, you plan. And when the moment comes, when everything fractures and chaos hits, you're already in position, not loud, not seen, but in control. Because the one who reads the room writes the future. Let others perform. Let others seek attention. Let others fight for status. You don't need to be the loudest voice. You just need to be the last mind they remember when the game is over. And if you do this right, they'll never know you were watching, but they'll never stop feeling like they were seen. Stay sharp, stay silent, and move like the outcome was already decided. Because once you've read their mind, you've already won. If you've made it this far, you're not just scrolling, you're searching for something deeper. Thanks for trusting me with your mind. If this spoke to you, like the video, hit subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to reclaim their power. Until next time, stay sharp and think deeper.